Alright, so last week on Random Acts of Carving we carved a pirate skeleton. It turned out kind of neat looking, and so after I carved him I had an idea to make him better, and so this week we're going to carve some stuff to go along with him. We're going to carve a rum bottle, and we're going to carve out some parts out of thin plywood long. And we're going to make them a little bit animated, so we're going to try that, and we're going to cut everything out with the carving tools that I've been using. We're going to cut out the pieces and everything, and I'm going to drill some holes with the drill, but other than that it's just all Dremels and Fordham, maybe the little strong 202 motor, micro motor, but take you along and we'll see what we end up with. This thing should turn out pretty neat. And we're drilling. So this little project here is I'm trying to animate the pirate, and so I got to cut out some little parts here. One is the little cams for the back, and then the ship helm, ship steering wheel there. I'm just using one of my little burrs. This is, I think it's like 1/8 inch Lawan. Had a piece of it in the shed, so I'm just using it. And here I am using an actual carving knife. I don't use those very often, but just made sense on this to take a little bit of wood off there without making quite as much dust. But it is relaxing, but it takes a lot of time, and it's hard to do the carvings I do with just a knife because they take so long. But if anybody was wondering, I do own a carving knife. Here I'm just digging out the back of the bottle a little bit so I can get those cams in there as deep as I can, so I can move the pirate up against the back of the bottle. Get him in as close as I can. Making the axles stuff lined up. There it is. There's the mechanism working. A couple dowel rods and the aluminum wire. So the pirate carving had a big void in the bottom of it, and he was split in a couple places, and I needed to be able to drill holes in them and mount this thing to him, and I didn't want him to explode whenever I drilled into him. So I filled him up with a 5-minute epoxy, and an hour later it was still soft, but it did eventually harden up. Oh, while it was drying, I took the time to go over work on the other parts a little bit. And I decided to go ahead and paint up the parts while they were separate. Make it a little easier to paint. So just wiping on acrylic paint with a rag on that just to get it covered up a little faster. Rub it in like a stain. A little bit of paint on the ship steering wheel. Or the pirate drive system, whatever you want to call it. Taking a little black paint on over the brown to just to shade it and make it look old, dirty. And it's hard to see how shaky my hand was whenever I speed the film up. It's hard to paint these little letters like that. The little cutter I'm using there actually doesn't have any teeth on it. It's just a diamond grinder. It cuts through stuff a little bit slow, but you don't really have to worry about cutting your fingers with it too much. The glue in the pirate finally dried out. I was able to do some more with him. So I'm just marking the front where those two dowel rods are going to go into the middle of them. I took I think it was a rotozip bit I used to clean those holes out. Kind of see them a little bit. Put some more of that 5-minute epoxy in there, and gave me plenty of time while that was drying for another hour to paint up the rest of the parts. Just going over that bronze with a black wash, just to dull it down and antique it a little bit. Forgot to paint this before I put it on the pirate, so I had to paint this one while it was glued on. I put some wax on these dowel rods whenever I stuck them through, so they run pretty smooth in there. I tried this little piece of copper wire, but it wouldn't hold the weight of his head. His head's pretty heavy, so I switched it out for an aluminum wire that was a lot heavier. And just gonna paint up the base. A little bit of black, a little bit of brown. Rub it on there. I'm gonna use a little bit of magic and screw them down and glue them down to that. And we'll have them finished up. Alright, well, it was a long, arduous battle with pirates today, as you can tell from my work table here. I had to get out all my arts and crafts, and drills and drill bits and glue and everything else I could find, and just to make this little guy, but I think he turned out pretty cool. So, alright, so we got this little animated pirate working. I think he looks pretty cool. Let me know what you think in the comments, because man, this was a little bit challenging, but it was a lot of fun. I had to make all these parts. You've seen me make them all, so this is what he looks like in the back. Here's what he looks like from the side. Yep, this one will get a lot of laughs, I'm sure. So that's what it's all about. So, anyways, if you like the video, like I said, leave a comment, and thanks for watching.